again. This movie is long overdue, and I apologize. In July 2016, the three dual sport dudes made a day trip to the Carpenter Lake area of BC via the renowned Hurley River Forestry Service Road. We took this day trip in mid-July 2016. Carl rode his bike from Vancouver to Pemberton, while Dan and I put our bikes on a trailer for the trip north to Whistler and Pemberton. At the end of this day, Carl would reveal to us that just the day before he completed an 800-kilometer loop. No wonder Carl is so critical of his seat comfort. This was my second full day trip on my Honda CRF 250L, which I had purchased brand new earlier that year. Dan, who was riding the red KLR, and I had just obtained our Class 6 designation for riding motorcycles in BC earlier in the spring of 2016. Carl, who is riding the green KLR, has been riding motorcycles for ice ages. Dan has been an intrepid adventurer all his life, four-wheeling in some of the most remote areas of BC and the Yukon. I felt like I had the least experience and the least know-how. This would be an anxious day for me as I had the idea and I had chosen the route. I'd made all the plans, but as you could see, I couldn't maintain the pace of Carl, who was constantly shooting off like a rocket. Right, we're at Hurley Crossing. See what's going on here. Towing the lodge, resort and spa. Hey guys, they have a spa. That'd be nice after all this dust, huh? Get some spa treatment?
Sounds good. I think they'll take one look at us and say, no way.
You're gonna plug up the filters. How you guys finding the roads?
Good. Yeah, they're excellent. Pretty good shape. This is awesome. I love it.
There's some sections where you can go pretty fast. That's fun, and there's some sections where you gotta slow down a bit. Nice kind of spectrum. Different roads.
I like the fast sections. I vote for more fast sections.
Yeah. So that's where my nervousness is coming from.
Give me more fast.
For me, I had only vicariously lived other people's adventures through the internet for too long of a time. But having had a taste of dirt biking 25 years earlier, I knew this was the adventure I wanted to pursue. As with all things that are worth doing, there is a learning curve. Each long ride I made, I found I'm learning how to make things easier, have less worry and have more fun. Learning how to make navigation and communication between riders easier, and how to accommodate the desires of my riding companions, which are undoubtedly different than mine. On this trip, we are exploring a well-used backcountry area north of Pemberton, BC, called the Bridge River Valley and Carpenter Lake areas. The Hurley River Forestry Service Road is a summer-only route that links the nearly abandoned mining towns in the area of Gold Bridge and Carpenter Lake to the Pemberton Valley about 1,200 meters below. Winter access is by snowmobile only, or by a 150-kilometer detour through Lillooet, BC. mentioned previously that I learned a lot on this trip. Actually, the learning was after. During this trip, though it was scenic and I felt adventurous, I was more nervous and anxious than anything else. I felt like I was the slow one. I didn't have enough experience off pavement to know where my limits were. I was distracted with navigation, video cameras, figuring out how to manage my motorcycle wardrobe as well as the stunning scenery. Not being able to communicate with my companions was difficult for me. I guess I like the reassurance of being able to check if my companions are okay and let them know how I'm doing, to clarify the route and figure out when to stop for food or photos. Later that year, we explored the benefits of the motorcycle intercom system, but at this point, I had the strange feeling of being alone with friends. Trying to follow a plan, but being in the back because I was slow and being cautious, and not sure if my companions were enjoying the day that I had planned. This probably identifies some of my insecurities, but perhaps it's also a benefit in a group, checking with people's status and changing the plan to ensure everyone has an enjoyable, memorable trip. We explored the Gun Lake and Carpenter Lake areas, checked in on the community of Goldbridge, boasting around 40 year-round inhabitants. We explored some recreation area campsites and tried to find the shortcut across a small creek that would provide a shortcut to Burlorn, but unfortunately that didn't pan out. This was a very adventurous day for me, exciting, but also exhausting. We still had to descend the Hurley from the Burlorn side, which connected to the Hurley main line at the crossing, making the 77-kilometer trip back to the Pemberton Valley. It was difficult to ride cautiously, descending the switchbacks with loose gravel requiring continuous mental attention. Exhaustion really set in for me during the 33-kilometer ride on pavement back to Pemberton. I was almost unable to ride due to cramped hands and a totally tenderized tush. We still had to load up the bikes and drive 3 hours home. It was at this moment, after peeling ourselves off the seat and assessing the task of loading the bikes on the trailer, that our good friend Carl announced he had completed an 800-kilometer loop the previous day.